In 1991, Guns N' Roses signed the largest recording contract in music history, $1.4 million per band member, instantly making them one of the wealthiest rock bands on the planet. 3 years later, Axl Rose was sleeping on a studio mattress, and Slash was quietly selling his guitars to pay bills. The band's $100 million empire had crumbled. This is the story of rock's greatest fortune, and how it slipped through their fingers. The Money Machine, 1987 to 1991. In February 1987, Guns N' Roses were flat broke. We were getting $7.50 per diem, Duff McKagan recalled. I was living in a rehearsal studio off Sunset, splitting floor space with Slash. Their original Geffen Records contract paid just $37,000 total, about $7,000 per member before taxes. Their debut album started slow, selling just 200,000 copies in its first year. Then, Sweet Child of Mine hit MTV in June 1988, and everything changed. By December, Appetite for Destruction was selling 200,000 copies every week. The real gold mine? Merchandising, which topped $35 million in 1988 alone. The band saw less than 2% of those profits. None of us understood the contracts we'd signed, McKagan later revealed in his autobiography. Our management got 20% of gross, not net. Every t-shirt sold, they got paid first. The merchandising company took 70%. Management took their cut, and our own lawyers were taking percentages rather than flat fees. The real money came from touring. The Use Your Illusion tour brought in $56,000 per night in ticket sales alone. But their expenses were staggering. Each show burned through $100,000 in pyrotechnics, $150,000 in union overtime fees due to late starts, and an average of $25,000 in venue damage repairs. Their 1988 contract with Geffen seemed like a victory at first. The band negotiated a 20% royalty rate on album sales, almost double the industry standard. But the fine print told a different story. The label could deduct up to 35% for packaging costs, another 15% for promotional copies, and an additional 20% for breakage, a holdover from the vinyl era that Geffen still enforced in the CD age. When the band's first major royalty statement arrived in January 1989, it showed sales of over 8 million albums. But after deductions, reserves, and recoupment of advances, each member took home an average of just $35,000. As Slash later wrote in his memoir, "We were platinum artists living on gold record money, and somebody else was banking the difference." The breaking point, 1991 to 1993. The Use Your Illusion albums marked GNR's peak and the beginning of their financial unraveling. The dual album recording sessions went 300% over budget, costing $1.2 million. Studio logs tell the story. $155,000 spent on guitar overdubs alone. One infamous session for November Rain needed 50 takes, running up $18,000 in studio fees for a single day. But the real money pit was their touring operation. A leaked expense report from December 1991 revealed the shocking costs, approximately $2 million monthly for stage production alone. Add to that $45,000 for private jet maintenance, $180,000 monthly for Axl Rose's personal security, and $350,000 in insurance premiums after multiple riot incidents. The band's behavior made them practically uninsurable. Lloyd's of London demanded a $2 million deposit just to cover potential riot damages. When Axl Rose sparked a riot in St. Louis by diving into the crowd to attack a fan with a camera, the resulting damages and legal settlements cost between $1 and $2 million, including up to $1 million in venue damage, several $100,000 in destroyed band equipment, and significant legal settlement fees. "We were spending money like water," Slash revealed in a 1993 interview with Rolling Stone. If Axl demanded a 10-foot mirror in his dressing room, we bought 3. If I wanted a specific vintage guitar for one song, we'd buy 5 to choose from. The expenses just kept snowballing. By late 1992, even sold-out shows were barely breaking even. The band's manager, Doug Goldstein, sent an urgent memo. At current spending levels, we're one canceled show away from serious cash flow problems. His warning proved prophetic. In 1992 alone, GNR paid out $1.7 million in settlement fees for 4 venue damage lawsuits, 3 riot-related class actions, 2 canceled show disputes, and multiple personal injury claims. The final straw came during a 1993 stadium show in Buenos Aires. Axl Rose halted the concert mid-set, demanding his accountant verify merchandise revenue tracking before he would continue. The delay cost $150,000 in overtime fees and marked the beginning of the end. As their former tour manager later noted, "When you're arguing about money in front of 60,000 fans, something's got to give. Empire in flames." 1993 to 1994. By 1993, GNR's financial empire was crumbling from within. Band members now operated as separate business entities, each with their own lawyers, accountants, and competing interests. Financial records show they were burning through $412,000 monthly on administrative costs alone. Slash's escalating heroin habit became a massive liability. Insurance companies demanded a $2.5 million high-risk performer bond before they would cover any shows. The band spent $387,000 on private security just to keep dealers away from the guitarist. According to their former road manager, Slash's daily drug expenses reached $1,200 by mid-1993. The mounting tension led to catastrophic show cancellations. When Axl Rose no-showed 3 consecutive concerts in September 1993, promoters hit the band with $1.87 million in penalties. They lost another $2.3 million in potential revenue, $675,000 in prepaid production costs, and $425,000 in non-refundable venue deposits. Internal feuds turned into costly legal battles. By late 1993, the band was paying retainers to 11 different law firms. A leaked accounting statement exposed the bleeding: $398,000 monthly for contract disputes, $245,000 for trademark protection, $167,000 for ongoing litigation with former members. The departure of founding members carried a staggering price tag. Steven Adler's dismissal in 1990 cost them $2.5 million in settlement fees. When Izzy Stradlin quit in 1991, his exit package included 15% of all previous album royalties. This cost the band $1.8 million up front, plus ongoing payments estimated at $250,000 annually. Gilby Clarke's firing in 1994 triggered another financial cascade. His contract guaranteed compensation for recordings he'd contributed to, resulting in $750,000 in immediate payments and a lengthy legal battle over future royalties. Their business manager's confidential memo said it all. Every departure creates new obligations while reducing potential income. This model is unsustainable. By mid-1994, the band's financial situation was dire. Their cash reserves had plummeted from $13.5 million to just $2.1 million in 18 months. Industry analysts estimated GNR was losing approximately $150,000 every week they weren't touring or recording. The Great Divide. 1994 to 1996. By 1994, Guns N' Roses wasn't just a band falling apart. It was a business empire, fracturing at its foundation. The first major crack appeared in April 1994, when Slash initiated a publishing rights negotiation that would permanently alter the band's financial structure. Previously, songwriting credits had been shared equally among band members. but new documents revealed Axl Rose was demanding 100% of publishing rights for songs he claimed sole authorship of, including November Rain and Don't Cry. This restructuring cost the other members an estimated $1.3 million in annual royalties. The battle for the band's trademarks turned even uglier. In August 1994, Rose filed 6 separate applications for exclusive ownership of the Guns N' Roses name. Legal fees skyrocketed to $675,000 by year's end. Former manager Alan Niven revealed in court documents that this trademark war cost more than the band's entire first album budget. The empire's collapse accelerated as band members' solo ventures drained what remained of their personal fortunes. Slash's Snake Pit toured at a loss, spending $2.1 million but earning just $1.4 million. Duff McKagan's investment in a Seattle bar chain resulted in a $900,000 loss when 3 locations closed simultaneously. Real estate became another financial sinkhole. Slash's $7.3 million Mulholland Drive mansion, purchased at the market's peak in 1994, would eventually sell for just $5.8 million in 1996. The final blow came when their management company, Big FD Entertainment, collapsed in early 1996. Audit records exposed the damage: $8.7 million in mismanaged funds, $2.3 million in unpaid taxes, $4.2 million in outstanding loans against future earnings. The company had been operating at a deficit for 18 months, using new tour revenue to cover past debts. By mid-1996, each band member faced their own financial crisis. McKagan's accountant estimated his client had lost 60% of his net worth in just 2 years. Slash was facing foreclosure on 2 properties. And Rose, despite maintaining control of the band name, watched his annual income drop from $5.8 million to less than $400,000. The hidden costs, 1996 to 2000. As Guns N' Roses entered 1996, their financial troubles went far beyond public view. Court records reveal 17 active lawsuits against the band, with legal fees averaging $847,000 per quarter. Former drummer Steven Adler's ongoing litigation alone cost $2.3 million in legal expenses between 1996 and 1998. The band's attempted comeback proved catastrophically expensive. Recording sessions for the mythical Chinese Democracy album began in 1996 with a $1.2 million startup cost. Studio logs show an endless parade of hired and fired musicians, producers, and engineers. By 1999, Geffen Records' internal accounting revealed a staggering total: $13.4 million spent on failed recording sessions. This included $2.6 million for unused studio time, $1.8 million in producer fees, and $4.2 million in equipment purchases. Bad investments plagued individual band members. Financial records exposed Duff McKagan's $3.2 million loss in a chain of failed music clubs. Slash lost $2.8 million backing a guitar manufacturing venture that never produced a single instrument. Even their former manager, Alan Niven, admitted they trusted people who saw them as walking ATMs. Maintaining Axl Rose's lifestyle became a crushing expense. His Malibu compound told the whole story of excess: $150,000 monthly for security, $85,000 for staff, and $42,000 for property maintenance. The compound sat empty for most of 1995. Yet Rose kept a 14-person full-time staff on payroll during a period when he hadn't released any new music. One former assistant noted, "The house became a symbol of everything wrong with GNR's finances. Massive spending with no income to support it." The most painful numbers were the opportunities lost. Documents show GNR refused a $38 million live album deal in 1997. They turned down $12 million for a greatest hits collection in 1998. They passed on $25 million for a reunion tour in 2000. MTV even offered $8 million for an unplugged special that never materialized. Geffen Records finally lost patience in 1999. After investing $23 million in the band since 1994, they stopped funding new recording sessions. An internal memo stated, "Further investment in Guns N' Roses cannot be financially justified." The label's accountants estimated total losses on unreleased GNR projects at $28.7 million. By 2000, the band's empire had effectively collapsed. Quarterly statements showed their corporation, Guns N' Roses Music, was operating at a $4.2 million annual deficit. Rose maintained ownership of the band name but faced mounting debt, with creditors freezing several accounts. The CEO of their former management company summarized it best. They didn't just lose a fortune. They lost multiple fortunes, some of which never even materialized. Rock bottom and redemption, 2000 to present. By early 2000, Guns N' Roses faced complete financial collapse. Court documents show creditors threatening involuntary bankruptcy proceedings, with outstanding debts totaling $11.6 million. Axl Rose's legal team fought to protect the band's assets, but monthly interest payments alone reached $230,000. A surprising lifeline emerged from an unexpected source: video games. In 2008, the inclusion of Welcome to the Jungle in Guitar Hero 3 generated $1.3 million in new revenue. This success opened the door to more licensing deals. The band's fortunes began to turn when they signed a $6.7 million deal with Rock Band in 2010, followed by a $4.2 million agreement for Burnout Paradise. Digital streaming transformed GNR's financial landscape. By 2015, Sweet Child O' Mine had earned $13.4 million from streaming platforms alone. Their catalog generated an average of $7.3 million annually through Spotify, Apple Music, and other services. Even without new music, the band's classic recordings became a consistent moneymaker. Then came the unthinkable. The 2016 reunion tour, Not in This Lifetime, shattered industry records. The numbers were staggering: $584.2 million in gross ticket sales, $35 million in merchandise revenue, $17.8 million in VIP package income, $8.2 million in sponsorship deals, and $12.4 million in additional catalog sales. The tour's success changed everything. Each original member's net worth increased substantially. Slash and Duff McKagan each earned approximately $42 million from the tour's primary revenue alone. The band established a new business structure with the equal profit sharing among core members, a lesson learned from past disputes. Even Chinese democracy, despite its troubled history, finally found profitability through streaming. The album, which cost $14 million to produce, has generated $9.8 million in digital revenue since 2015. Former manager Doug Goldstein noted, "Streaming gave their entire catalog a second life. Songs that hadn't earned money in years suddenly became profitable again." Today, Guns N' Roses operates as a streamlined business entity. Their 2021 financial statement tells the story. $18.2 million in annual streaming revenue, $7.5 million in licensing income, $4.8 million in merchandise sales, $12.3 million in publishing rights, and $115 million in concert earnings. The band learned expensive lessons about financial management. They now employ a professional management team, maintain strict accounting oversight, and operate with transparent revenue sharing. As Duff McKagan, who earned a degree in finance after the band's earlier troubles, stated in 2022, We finally figured out how to be a band and a business at the same time. It just took losing everything to learn how to keep it. The story of Guns N' Roses' fortune isn't just about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's a cautionary tale of how a $100 million empire crumbled through mismanagement, ego, and excess. Between 1991 and 2000, the band burned through an estimated $230 million in revenue, tour earnings, and potential deals. By 2023, financial analysts value GNR's catalog at $225 million. Yet industry experts suggest that with proper management from the start, the band's worth could have exceeded $1 billion. Former manager Alan Niven calculated the true cost of their peak years: lost opportunities, canceled shows, and mishandled contracts cost the band approximately $375 million in potential earnings. Today's Guns N' Roses operates like a corporation rather than a rock band. Quarterly reports show steady income from streaming, licensing, touring, and merchandise. The band that once burned money faster than they could earn it now maintains strict financial controls, professional management, and transparent accounting. The price of their excesses went beyond dollars and cents, as their former accountant David Friedman noted in 2020. They didn't just lose money, they lost years of creativity, countless opportunities, and nearly destroyed one of rock's greatest catalogs in the process. Yet their story has a silver lining. The band's music continues to generate substantial revenue, with Sweet Child O' Mine alone earning over $1.2 million annually from streaming. Their 2016 to 2019 reunion tour proved they could still command stadium-sized crowds and premium ticket prices, grossing $584.2 million. Perhaps Slash summed it up best in a 2022 interview. "We had to lose everything to learn how to manage anything." The music business isn't just about making great songs. It's about protecting what you create. Sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that cost you the most.